And how amazing it could be, so elegant, simple, and immediate to change our state. We change our breath. So we're going to start right off with the shoulder and the side together. So whereas in lounge lizard we usually post up on our hand, we're going to post up on our forearm. But with the same principles, I'm placing my elbow directly under my shoulder. So this would be not under my shoulder, and this would be right under my shoulder. And I'm letting my ribs drape, but I'm keeping my elbow directly under my shoulder. Now, if you want to just bend or kick one of these feet off to the side for a little balance, that's perfectly fine. Without shrugging the shoulder, allow your right jaw to move toward your collarbone. So there's just a gentle, kind of compressive element here in the neck. And so letting breath wash up the right side of the ribs, left side of the neck. And if your neck is tender, go into these places judiciously, slowly. There's no rush to get anywhere. You can take 5 breaths moving in the direction of these places. There's no here. This is just a suggestion of where here could be. All right, we'll press out of there. I'm just going to relax the chin down as we make our way up. And again, take your time to let the neck move out of that place. You know, some people's necks move very easily this way, that way, and some of ours just need a more measured entry and exit. So let's set that up on the other side. Left side. I'm posting forearm under shoulder, straightening out the left leg just to help with this rib bend. And then as I turn, left jaw toward the collarbone. Just letting that side just softly gather. Letting the ribs move with breath. Just making sure we're not bracing the chest or the ribs or bracing, holding the breath. Not necessarily letting the shoulders shrug up. I'm pushing, posting, and just letting the neck move as gradually as it needs to, as if I were looking at my left elbow. So it's probably not as stretchy as a neck release. And it's probably not as bendy as a side bend, but oh well. Sometimes explorations will take a gentler sensation path. All right. So I'm going to let the head just be turned. And as I press up, I'm going to let the chin shift centrally. Even if it's relaxed down, just make your exit path as soft, as smooth as it needs to be. So now let's have a seat so we can do some alternate nostril breathing. We'll go 5, 15, 10. That's a 1 to 3 to 2 ratio. A classic ratio for alternate nostril breathing. Okay, select any hand to start, and I'll just give us a rough framework, but ultimately your count, your rhythm is up to you. So if we inhale 5, through one nostril, we'll close to hold. So both nostrils are closed for 15. Then exhaling out the other side, 10. Other side being, opposed, other than your inhale side. Okay. So the side you had just exhaled out of, inhale through that. Close both and hold. Now softening abdomen, allow the space all around the neck to be felt. So you're feeling with your neck, letting the neck uncompress, as if your neck is growing into the space around your neck. All right, and then exhale out the other side. So that's one round. Let's do one more. Feel for softening the shoulder. So that area where we had just compressed, now is the time to let that collarbone just soften away from the jaw. Each collarbone just softening away from the jaw. And so after that round, I'm going to press up into downward dog. So from hands and knees. Let the hand fully contact the ground. And how do you shift the shoulder blades relative to the ribs? And when you're ready, exhale the knees off the ground. And feel for breath, that wash of breath, coming through some of that very same territory, just beside the armpit, around the shoulder blade, and through the sides of the neck. You can feel for the neck muscles, the ones that you felt, or have any sensory memory of feeling, just letting those neck muscles soften. The musculature softens. And then that, in a sense, will help us develop a deeper breath. So a deeper is not a force move, but in my mind, it's more of endurance and precision and volume and space. It can be supremely gentle. Deep can be supremely gentle. So we're not sniffing, like trying to scoop up air. That's not deep breath. In fact, that will typically give us a shorter, shallower, and neckier breath. All right, let's set the knees down. And now we'll have a seat where our right leg is outstretched and our left heel brought closely in, right in front of the pelvis. So now we are going into side bend. And inhaling, I'm going to take my entire torso as if I were side lying on my right side. We did some side lying the other day. And I reach out through my right arm. Again, as if I were swivelly side lying on my right side. And then exhale, set that right hand down. Inhale, reach the left arm overhead. And then exhaling, feel that side lying, as if you're side lying on a little cushion of air and prana over your right leg. So you still have quite a bit of that balance, that spiraling responsiveness in your trunk, in your spine, in your core. And allow the right jaw to move toward the right collarbone. I'm not bringing the shoulder to the jaw, I'm letting the jaw move toward the collarbone. It's a relaxed, it's a soft position. It's almost as if I wanted to see what was just beyond my right thigh, like to the outside of my thigh. Okay, and then release. We'll set the left hand down. Okay, and just press up in whatever measured way you need to exit, so there's never a rush. And we'll switch over to the other side. So I'm just creating a little framework. It's just a little mental framework to play differently in side bend, right? So all these little tricks or cues or funny little variations, a lot of it is how do we break frame? How do we help ourselves out of our own conditioned way of viewing and perceiving? So a gazillion funny little cues just so we can have a multitude of different angles, different views. So inhale and reach out with my left arm, my left side ribs, like I'm going to lie on my side in that wobbly swimming-like way. And exhaling, set that. And then with the right arm, inhaling the right arm over. And exhaling. Allow my jaw, my left jaw, to turn as if I wanted to see just left of my kneecap. And by turning the head as if like I wanted to see what's over my left knee, I just start to softly gather the left side of my neck, and it very gently starts to expand the right side of the neck, and I can still feel the scalenes, the neck muscles, the tone, the softness. And the point here is when I soften the neck, it affords me a much different quality of breath. Check that. And it quite possibly is a quality of breath that starts to permeate the back muscles, the waist, the ribs, the shoulder. So this deeper breath reaches, touches, contacts, moves more and a little bit more. A deep breath can be so gentle, yet so precise and vast. So if you feel yourself or hear yourself sniffing like powerful breath, that doesn't need to be it. In fact, we'll probably shortchange ourselves some of that sensory information by short sniffing. So we're actually making a concerted effort, one more breath, to feel the relaxedness of the neck and the vastness of breath through the ribs, torso. Shoulder and hips. Okay. We'll bring the right hand down to the ground. Inhaling, we'll walk our way up. Okay. So, straddle lifting through. Let's lie back. If going immediately to straddle feels like too much on the hips or the back, just bend the knees a little bit. As you're lying, feel one breath with the head totally relaxed in the hands. Sometimes we just forget to make these moments where the neck can be and feel relaxed. So just take one breath moment, feel the head, not having to move, wiggle, lift, get ready, anticipate. And here we go. And now inhaling. Lift with the elbows. The head does lift. But I'm not necessarily trying to look into my abdomen, although that can be helpful. Exhale. Outreach through the legs. Spread the foot bones. Pull low belly down. Now as you inhale, keep the head afloat. Lift the elbows up. Resist the urge to go back to the floor. There is no return. Not now, at least. Exhale, curling the tailbone. Reach out through the legs. Pull low belly down. Keep the shoulder blades up as you inhale. You might have to train a new or a stronger or a different breath. That's the point of yoga. How do I continually keep going, keep doing abdominals? We'll do a handful. How do I use these positions to not do the conditioned, habituated, usual, ordinary thing I always do? Is it harder? Yeah, big deal. So how do I relax the head and the hands, even as I'm breathing deeply or powerfully? How do I keep the neck muscles as relaxed as possible, even though it would be so much easier to just kind of snort that breath in with my scalenes or what have you? How do we feel that different is even a possibility? How do I even know what is conditioned or ordinary or usual behavior? Do 3 more. Let's do 3 more. There we go. In this way, every repetition feels like a new frontier, or has the potential to be a new frontier. And this goes back to some of those classic koans, like don't know. Conditioning and automasticity would have us say, oh, I know what comes next. I know how to do this. Oh, I know that. The don't know koan is, how do I put myself in a place, in a pose, in a position, with a breath, with a view that is completely, utterly fresh? And how do I do that moment to moment to moment to moment to moment? When you're through, help your legs together, set feet down. We'll set up bridge. So if you need a block to support your pelvis, and yes, sometimes knowing these things is helpful. You got me. And we'll set up feet hip width. And then inhaling, drawing the chest bones, lifting them, expanding them all the way up the ribs, even those first 2 ribs. And then exhaling. The feet, those active feet with those sweet arches. We've been playing with arches. Bring those blocks under the sacrum should you need them. And we settle the feet down. Can you feel that little gap, that little air under the midfoot? Now here, notice that the scalenes get this gentle gathering, right? And this bridge, if you want to take your hands to it's almost like the top of the collarbone, first rib, top of collarbone. And we'll just practice taking 3 wonderfully deep. Deep is deep. Powerful is powerful. So they're not sniffing breaths, but they're deep breaths. And feeling that the breath can rise all the way up to the top of the sternum. And those neck muscles that are gathered together in front, they don't have to get overly invested. They can remain relaxed. Okay, now half virasana. So I'm going to take the hands away from the collarbone. We can return them there anytime we want to check what are my scalenes doing. And left hand grab left foot, drawing it back. And when my scalenes, when my neck muscles can feel relaxed, maybe you notice this, your breath can explore more deeply through the body, especially the abdomen, the pelvis, the pelvic floor. We'll switch sides and leave you there. So we'll let the left foot down to the ground, right hand, grab hold right foot, draw it back. And we'll release the right side from half virasana. With neck relaxed, deep in inhalation. Press off the objects. Tower of support, exhale. We'll lower the spine down. Now, if you've lowered, turn over onto a side and press up. I'm going to, stay in bridge here for a moment. I may not be able to see closely, but I'm going to show you. So I'm going to come back up into bridge where my shoulder blades are. I'm just going to try to move my arms a little bit. So right now I'm just starting to get contacting the ground, the first couple of ribs. They're just starting to make contact. The vertebrae of the first two ribs, the top two ribs, are just starting to make contact with the ground. And I'm going to just slow lower and put about 1 inch right there. So these are about the first two ribs. Their spine joints are now kind of folded or flexed along the ground. So now I'm lowering down and I'm about that middle shoulder blade area. So by lowering this in this kind of precise way, I'm kind of getting an iteration of all those wonderful moves we use to stretch or spread or flex the upper back, the spine, and like when we do those arms in eagle. So the lowering out of your bridge, and now I'll turn over and talk with you a little bit. So I can create that. Let me do it this way. The kind of lowering my upper ribs, mid ribs. The benefit of that is, as we're kind of going through the neck area, we do so because when the neck area gets kind of locked up or is overtaxed with conditioned, we'll say, breathing patterns, that upper back tends to feel locked down or like it can't move. And so just practical things like turning your head over your shoulder to see what's the car coming, who's pulling out. That becomes really challenging. So it's not just neck, it's upper back, it's very practical. We want that motion and that breath. And I'll point this way, right up here. It's so good to feel these areas moving. So to that end, let's find a blanket or roll up your mat, and we're going to do some shoulder shrugs against the wall. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to use a blanket. Okay, and similarly, you could roll up your mat. And we'll place this at the back of the head, right between the shoulder joints. And then scoot your butt back 1 more inch, just because it's usually sliding forward an inch. Okay. This may feel artificially vertical. Hooray! Odd things, unusual things. Inhale into the upper back. Okay, now raise up the shoulders, gather them up. And now squeeze the tops of the shoulder blades. So we're right in that first and second rib area. You'll feel that knobby spine. You can feel it with your finger. Right up in there. Exhale, squeeze, and move the musculature, the contraction down. And I want you to hold that squeeze for a moment and deliberately inhale into the very top of your rib cage. And when you exhale, let the squeeze go. Let the shoulders relax. And let yourself now take one inhalation with relaxed shoulder blade muscles, no squeeze, just taking one deep breath with the attempt to feel more precisely. It's about an inch of real estate just below the knobby spine at the base of your neck. Those are the top two ribs. Those two ribs connect to the top joint of your sternum. The collarbone kind of goes over those top two ribs. All right, now let's do the middle parts. Inhale. Feeling another inch or two lower than the inch we just investigated. And now squeeze the middle parts of your blades together. Gather, 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 gather. And now exhale, squeeze and drag, moving the muscles, the contraction, the shoulder blade bones. Down, 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 down. Now hold the squeeze. Hold the squeeze, inhale. Inhale all around the squeeze. And then exhale, release the squeeze, release the shoulders. Okay. Now with the shoulders, the shoulder blade muscles relaxed, take one precise deep breath into that upper back. It's where the middle of the shoulder blades are. I'll do one more. Inhale into the upper back. And gather up the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Gather, 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 gather. And as you exhale, squeeze, gather, drag, draw. Stay with the squeeze. Stay with the squeeze. Hold the squeeze through the next precise, deep inhalation, like you're covering and surrounding the squeeze with your breath. And as you're exhaling, let go the squeeze, let go the shoulders, let everything just melt down to the ground, and take one feeling breath into the middle of your back, the bottom tip of the shoulder blade area. And we'll release. Let that roll go. We'll move away from the mat. We're taking another downward dog. So come back to a working spot. And so now as you're wrapping the shoulders, all that area from the knobby spine of your upper back down to about the middle of the back or diaphragm area, low ribs, wrapping. And exhale the knees off the ground. Warrior one. Inhale, right foot forward. And once you're up in warrior one, I'm just going to show you a coming up move. Well, actually, I'm going to show you two. There's one way that's taught. So I'm just going to presume I just stepped my right foot forward. There's one way that's taught where we lead with the eyes, and so goes the neck, and so goes the spine. So we're starting with the neck muscles to kind of bring us up with our muscles. That's one way. And then I'm going to show you a second way. I'm going to take that same beginning point, and it's a little bit more segmental. So part of spine by part of spine by part of spine. And presuming I've stepped with a relaxed neck, there's almost this segment by segment by segment by segment. So I have to use my abdominals to gather back and support the spine. And the eyes and the head are the last to come up. So I just want to note those, because you're going to get a chance in one warrior transition from now. Okay, so we're going to inhale the hands down to the ground. Exhale the right foot back, lowering down. Cobra. Feel breath moving into the chest wall to the very top of the sternum, the very top of the ribs. And exhale, lower down, downward dog. And I'm going to face you so I can see this transition. We will move into warrior one with our left foot forward. And however you want to play, you can do multiple reps, but here we go. Inhale the left foot forward, and you just play with coming up. It's a spine thing, it's a neck thing. There you go. There it is. Exactly. Warrior one. As we kind of do those, when we kind of deconstruct or segmentalize and notice little small thing, little small thing, little small thing, it helps. It's a way that helps us alter our view. We also have to balance that with seeing the larger and the more whole picture. All right, so inhale, set hands down. We're going to make one more pass at one more move. Exhale, chaturanga. And stepping back, lowering. Inhale, cobra, feeling breath reach the top of the sternum. So I have to be kind of measured in my shoulder strength so that I don't just blot out feeling the upper ribs with my arm efforts. Get how that. Exhale, downward dog. And when you inhale the right foot forward for warrior one, I'm going to watch the transition for a moment. Okay, I love it. There you go. And some of us might not be able to flex or do that curling up move or that head last move, but it's an idea. Okay, so pause right there. You get to relax in warrior one. You can relax the arms. I want to show you the move we're working on. So from warrior one, I keep the right leg bent a little bit. So I'm not straightening it, but I am going into something that looks a little bit like a vertical split. So with my leg raised and hopefully my neck relaxed, as I bend my right knee, stretch my left leg, I'm hunting for that softest touch of the ground and that longest footprint, okay? So we'll do like 2 passes, 2 tries on the right side, and then we'll do a couple passes on the other side. So take your time. I'm bending the right knee, and I'm trying to create a very slow, momentum-free lowering of the left leg. The hands can be on the ground, so you can bend your right knee as much as you need for that weight shift. And you're not just setting the leg down any old way. Try to reach it long, as far away from your right foot and as softly as you can. Give it 1 or 2 tries, because I want to see these sweet, soft landings. This will play in to what we're doing with our handstand stuff. So the descent, the controlled momentum-free descent, will actually help the kicking up or the ascent. So you're getting handstand practice in here, whether you like it or you love it. There you go. That's awesome. That's great. All right, so once that foot touches the ground, we'll do a chaturanga, a vinyasa. So we'll exhale and we'll step the right foot back, lowering. Inhale, and that coming up move, feeling breath, reach the top 2 ribs, the top of the sternum, and I just have to use enough arm effort so I don't completely overwhelm or blot out my sensitivity. Exhale, downward dog, hands under chest, press back, and we'll do those 2 or few leg movements on the other side. So starting warrior one, inhale the left foot forward, come up how you will. There you go. Using your abdominals, using your spine or your eyes, your reach. There's lots of ways we can come up into warrior one. Okay. Now, we'll bring our hands to the ground and draw the right leg up. It's we'll call it a hybrid or a partial vertical splits. Partial, I want you to keep the front leg bent. And once you've elevated that left leg, your right leg, allow the front knee to bend and just practice a slow descent and reaching, yes, as far as you can. Give it a couple of tries. Let's make sure none of them are flukes. There you go. Yes, and reach far back. Lean back, reach back. There you go. Yeah, that's it, that's it, that's it. That's fantastic. Yes. It says last few inches. The ground is magnetically stronger when you're 3 inches from the ground than 19 inches from the That's a scientific almost fact. There you go. Reach back, 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 long, 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 long. Yes! And once that toe touches ground, exhaling chaturanga. We'll step the left foot back. Lowering. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. All right, softly, we'll set knees down. So we got a few little exercises in there, some practices. Let's set up for Shavasana. Time flies, I guess. So we had a number of little awareness practices for the top of the rib cage. And this is my observation, so it may not apply to everybody. But the top of the rib cage I find to be an interesting place to learn articulate, neck, soft, deep, mobilized rib breathing. I find that to be such an interesting place to be with our breath. So feel the broadness of your upper chest and the top dome of your ribs. And learn if you can feel the little bucket handle action of those topmost ribs. Now, if you wanted to rest your fingertips on the top of your collarbone, just to know if the scalenes, the neck muscles, are trying to excite you into strong neck work, you can rest your fingertips. We're just noticing and feeling if that bucket handle motion of the rib cage is evident for us. Maybe it's evident on one side more than another. And generally, when there's a freedom, a kind of a degree of freedom in the form, the ribs, like little bucket handles, they lift out and up on inhale. And they lower back down as if against the bucket's wall on exhale. Now that's a simplified analogy, but it gets us, at least gives us a way to start to use the visualization to enter into our body and to feel and explore what might be happening in our body. Now, you may have broken a collarbone and the motion of your ribs has been forever altered. Okay, just notice what you can notice. We all come to this with different histories, different form. Some of us may have screws or bolts or, added hardware that alters that action. And where we were playing with today, the rib joints, the spine joints of the couple of ribs and the few spine bones up the way, these are all nerves that serve the hand. So these nerves, the place where we're feeling the motion, the nerves there, kind of feeding and signaling to the hands. All right. So, let's bend knees. We'll turn to a side, we'll press to seated. Namaste.